Hey guys, we're back with another stream, and today we are going to fix up our trading widget. Now, if you watched last night's stream, we have basically tidied up the whole thing to be a much simpler system, and if we have a look at it, then we will see from here that we are now showing we have the buy and sell. Okay, so the first thing we need to do here is fill in this black scroll bar basically. And the way we're going to do that is hi R, how you doing? R. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a scroll box and we're going to wrap it with a border. And then we're going to get the border and we're going to get the appearance, and we are going to go with black. We're going to OK that, and that should be the answer to that. Now the next thing we need to do is in our VB list we actually need to add a horizontal box at the bottom. 4.27. We're using Unreal Engine 4.27 for this. So we're going to drag a horizontal box into our list at the bottom there. And it shouldn't have been that. Did that drag in that? Oh well, must have. Right, so we drag this in here. So we have a horizontal box at the bottom. And our horizontal box is going to have a text box. We're at least going to have a text box. Now, I don't know what on earth happened there. So, let's get that back. We've got our horizontal box. So, we're putting our text in there. We'll select our text. And we go for and that's going to be credits available. Okay, so we have our credits available. Now remember guys, we take our time here. If there's any questions, just ask away, but this isn't speed building anything, okay? So we're going to check that out to make sure that we've now got our scroll box, we've now got our credits available, which is exactly what we want. We want our buy, and that's cool. Okay, so that is working exactly how we want it to. We are going to get our horizontal box and we're going to throw a border around it, and we select that, and our brush is going to be black again. Okay, our horizontal box, we shall stick a bit of padding on it. bit of a 10, I think. That'll push that in a bit. In fact, I'll tell you what, we're going to stick a 0 on that, but we will stick 10 above and 10 below. Okay. Now we'll actually stick the padding on the actual text box, so we shall give it a 10. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add another text box. And this is going to be the same. And it's going to align to the right. And we'll change that to 0. And in actual fact, we shall give this a 20. That'll knock our 0 over a bit, which is kind of what we want. Now, this is going to be a variable, and txt credits, and in our graph we can get rid of a lot of this now actually, but we are going to pull this in. And we're going to set the text on it. And it's going to be the controller, and it's going to be credits available. Get space credits. So we're going to get the space credits, and if we stop mucking around with that, that's going to go in there, so it's going to go to text, which is fine. Zoom that in a bit so you guys can see it a bit clearer. Right, so we've got that. We're going to drag that up a bit. We're going to select all of it, and we're going to align it to the right. Move our text up a bit there. Then we're going to drag this whole thing up. Then we're going to plug this in here, and we're going to save that. And then in our FE controller, right, we've got our space credits here, and we're going to set that to default so that it gives us a value. Save that, and we shall test that. So if we press 5, we have our space credits available. And then we're going to have something here like trade cost or something like that, right? But in the meantime, I think what we're going to do with this is we're going to make these smaller, and we're going to have like a double button and a double button, so that you can move all of these things into the amount, okay? So let's do that. So if we go to trading main, in fact we're going on trading line, okay? Now there's click to sell and click sell and click buy. These are now, yeah, that's correct. That's correct. So we have these two things, but we don't need, let's go to designer. So this is going to be button by. Well, actually, it's right. We'll call it button by for now, but it isn't actually button by. It's more like a transfer in and transfer out. But then even then, it's not quite right. So I'll tell you what, in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to add our 2 extra buttons in. So we shall copy that, okay, and we shall paste it, then we shall drag it, in fact cut that idea right out, okay. What we'll do is we'll actually duplicate that, then we shall duplicate it again, and now we can check if that's 4, that's going to be column 5, it's going to be column 6, and that is going to be column 7. Okay, and then in our GP line we're going to add, then 1, 1, and in actual fact we shall change these to 0.5 so that these buttons are smaller. And this one is going to be the arrow left. So we've got the correct thing here, but do we have a double arrow? Okay, let's see if we can find a double arrow. So we have to fill this in. Let's see what we've got here. Base icon square. It's not that. Could be in generic. We certainly have an arrow. Question is, do we have like a double arrow? We do here. The problem is that it's like not quite the same size. I'm just wondering if, yeah, we'll go with that for now. It's a slightly smaller arrow, but it's more in scale with that. And we're going to have to spin this round by the looks of it. I'll tell you what we'll do. What we'll do is we shall have a look to see if we have any better any better ones? Okay, so let's have a look to see if we've got something better. We want icon, and let's see if we have anything. We have definitely got arrows. So we've got single, there we go, singles and doubles. Any ones you guys like? Anything there that you guys find interesting? These are only singles again. Let's see if this looks the part. I would say that does actually. And what we'll do is we shall grab that one. Darn it. Okay. And the angle is going to change here to 180. And the same with this one, 180. And yeah, I think we can go with that. As far as these images go, right, let's have a look. So we can select all the images, and then what we'll do is go with 64. Now let's have a look at this when we actually bring it up. And probably on the Y we want to, I'm thinking now, I'm not 100% sure if this is going to make any difference, to be honest, because the actual thing might just stretch it. But what we'll do is we'll try it, we'll save it and try again. Right. Don't know about you guys, but I think that's looking pretty okay. Right, we can add a tooltip, and our next point of call is going to be on the buttons. Okay. In fact, we could have put these images in the buttons when I think about it. But we shall carry on with this. and we'll see what happens. So what we're going to do is on the hover, we're going to do the light blue thing. Now, if you see, okay, can we do the same with this? So it looks like we can't rotate. We can't rotate it if it's part of it. So we're kind of knackered there, but we can try it anyway. Let's see what this does. It does the background. What do you guys think of that? I mean, it is beginning to look quite nice. Probably need to change these about just a little bit, but otherwise, okay. So it looks to me now there's two ways we could do this, right? The one obvious is basically to recreate okay, let's try it with the cell button here, right? In this image, if we use that in the actual button, okay, and then we delete this, and we change this to 1, and that's not, well, it doesn't look so good, but let's have a look in the actual, when we press play, how this actually sizes down. And yeah, that's not so good. That's not so good at all. So I think we'll go back to the way we were. And what we'll do is we'll create the brushes from the hover buttons. So what we'll do is we shall do that. Actually, we'll not do that at all. On the image, actually, you know what? I don't think that images you can do a hover over. So it's going to be a hover over on the button itself. So it's like going to be these ones here that we actually unhovered. Okay. And that's going to be unhovered. That's going to be unhovered. And that is going to be unhovered. Now we need to do all of the unhovered. But fundamentally, what we're going to do is, we've got the button by, now we need to rename these. So basically this is going to be image cell, and no, this is going to be, let's say this is image return, so it's going to be return all. Okay, and this button is going to be button return all. Okay, and this button is going to be return single, and this image is going to be return single. Okay, and this one is going to be button to purchase single, but we'll just call it purchase single. Okay, so we shall copy that, and then this is going to be image purchase single, and this is going to be purchase all. Purchase is the wrong name here actually. And this is going to be image purchase all. Okay, so we'll test this out. So when we hover over the button, right, what it's going to do is, and this is return single, okay? So image return signal, single, get it out. We are going to set opacity and color, and the color is going to be blue. Right, but we want to test this to find out what the values are for this. 0.9, 0.25. Okay. .25. I believe this was 0.94. Ah, wait a minute. That's 0. So blue is that, this red is 0.25. I think green was 0.94. Okay. We can set this actually to a variable. We can call it color hovered color, and this will make it a bit easier to deal with, and that's going to be linear color. Okay, and now we should be able to set the default, and we can set it to here. Okay, that, and that didn't change it. When that doesn't change it, normally what I do is just grab the little thing and do that. And now we should be able to just plug that in there. And for each of the rest of them, we can basically do the same thing. And then we can set them back when we're done. But what we need to do is so we do that, and we get return all. Okay, and that goes there. Can pull this down a bit. Right, so we've got purchase signal. So we get image purchase single. Okay, so let's delete that, so we know where we are. Right, so image purchase single. Well, we can drag in purchase all. That goes in there. That goes in there. Then we can drag that down. And we can drag that up. Get that straight. And we can drag this over now. And this is purchase single. That goes in there. And what we can do is we can say, we can duplicate that, and we can say unhovered color. We can save that, and we can change this to white. Okay, that. Save that. And now we can go this one unhovered, this one unhovered, this one unhovered, and this one unhovered, we can basically duplicate these, pull it down, and we're going to delete that, delete that, delete that, delete that, and we're going to get our unhover color, get that, then we're going to duplicate that, then we're going to get these and duplicate them, and now we have all our colors. And we plug these in. Drag that up. Plug it in. Drag this up. In this case, we'll plug this one in first and drag that over. So we need purchase all, which is this one. Okay. We need purchase signal, which is this one. We need to return all and return signal or go in there. So we can drag that in there, that in there. Then we can do that and align left. Actually align right. And then we can drag them out. And then we can straighten these up. Okay. Can save that. And now, a bit of work, but it should give us a nice effect. And problem with that is in the designer, in the button, we don't want this to basically do anything. Right, so these are all going to be one. Okay, we'll set them back. We'll cancel that. And that's on hovered. So cancel that. And that one, we cancel that. And of course we set it back to white. And we can save that. And run that. There we go. Cool. Okay, so now we need a bit more padding on this. Okay, which is our main thing. So on the horizontal box at the top, we want, let's say 50. And that gives us lots of space. Now, the other one thing that we need to do here is we need what is the one thing we need here? We need the price. Right, so let's have a look at this and let's see where we are going to actually put the price. Now we could add it to the product, or we could add a new column with the price in it. That's another possibility. Any ideas in the chat? What you think the best way to be? I'll tell you what, in the meantime, what we shall do is we'll get these buttons to do something. So in the graph, we've got our well, not in there, in here, we have our buttons, okay? So, let's say purchase all. And that's the image, so that's no good. Purchase all, and clicked. Now, this is returning inventory, and this return product price. Okay? So, in effect, we need to create, well actually we don't need to create anything per se. What we need to do is just transfer it into that box, this editable box, which is this box here, right, which is txt amount. Well, actually this should be txt, this should be quantity to transfer. Okay. So what we can do now, this is purchase all. So what we can do is get available, I believe. Product, and this is quantity available. Okay, so we want quantity available, which actually is this number here. Okay, and let's just set this first, okay? We don't want to do that. Alright, we're making a mess of this. So we get text quantity available. No we don't. No, we do not. We're getting the transfer quantity to transfer. Then reset text, set text. Okay. So we'll just do this bit by bit, gradually build it up. So let's have a look at this, see what it actually does. Right, so this is button purchase all. Okay, so that's doing absolutely jack. Okay, let's add a breakpoint. Step over. We have 0 available. Okay, so it's not getting this number, so this 100 number is not being set. So we need to do something about that. Okay, so what we shall do is in the trading menu, or the main menu, when we create the widget, it's item quantity. Okay, so it's actually this number here. You can save that, play that. Right, so that's doing what we want at the moment. Resume that, and there we have the 100. Okay, now we need to remove it from this, and we need to return the price and multiply it out so that we know exactly what the price is going to be. So what we'll do is we shall save all that for the moment, and we shall come back to it in a couple of minutes once I've had a comfort break. So we shall be back just shortly. Okay folks, we're back and let's carry on with this. So the next thing we need to do here is set the number in quantity available to 0. So it's txt it's text and that would be 0. Now we might have to change this, but for the moment we're just trying to get it to do the basics of what we want. We're going to have to add the pricing, and we're going to have to add whether or not they are overpriced, like they've not got enough space credits. So we can do the purchase all, and the button purchase single, we have to do the on clicked, which is going to put it away down there out the way, which isn't ideal, but we're not worried about that. So in this case, now, yeah, this isn't going to quite work. This is not going to quite work. We are going to have to make another going to have to make another variable that stores the amount to transfer, right? So that's what we'll do for now. Once we go a little bit further, we shall go to amount to transfer. We're going to have a transient here so that we can keep track of what's available, because we know what's available, right? But we need to know what we actually want to transfer. Oh, you're back, Jess, are you? How are you doing? We are working on our trading widget, which, if you're just here, I'll let you see. Our trading widget is to trade with the ship, and basically it looks like this at the moment. We have been working on reformatting this. No worries. So we've got this working nicely. So we've got our buy and sell working on a widget switcher. And we've been working on making these buttons look nice when we hover over them. And then when we click on this button here, it will transfer over 100. And then this becomes 0. Okay, and we have our credits available, and then we're going to add a couple of buttons in here called like trade and cancel. So we're going to do that shortly, but it's just to let you see what we're actually working on at the moment. So we're actually working on this button here where we just pass over a single one. Actually this button here, well, it's actually this button here for every single one, but anyway. So we shall escape that just now, and we shall do the same thing as this, but we're going to do it slightly differently. It is only when they actually hit the trade button that it's going to affect the ship inventory and the player's inventory. So this bit here, we are actually going to, this adds the quantity to this. So what we're actually going to do here, and we may as well do it because we can then do the proper thing instead of just half-assing it. So our amount to transfer, we set it to this number here, and then the item quantity, we set it to 0. Okay, so these two go in here. Then these go in here. And then the quantity to transfer, this goes in here. Okay, we've got to get it, and then do that. We can move this down a bit and tidy it up, move that across, down a bit, that'll do. Then for the quantity available, we now do item quantity, and we basically do that. And we can move this across a bit just to tidy it up. Now the fun thing is, this is actually going to get moved and all of these are going to join together. So we can basically delete this, and what we can say is we can join this, we can duplicate that. Now we're going to do a slight difference here. So the amount of item quantity does not become that, but what happens is the amount to transfer, and we basically add 1, and then that one goes in there, and the item quantity, we get that, and then basically we minus 1, and that goes in there. Then we can join that up to there, and then this can actually join onto here. And this, in fact, we can move basically down to about here. Okay, because we're going to add another 2. So let's check that that is the case, and this is actually correct. So now we can move one at a time. There you go. And then if we click on them all, resume that, that didn't work. So in the purchase all, this needs to change from this to plus amount to transfer. Wait a minute. So it's plus. Right, so this becomes this plus the amount to transfer. Get that. Plug that in there. Then that goes in there. and no matter how you do this, the final amount of the item quantity when you hit purchase all becomes nothing. Okay, so let's try that, since that other wasn't working, and we'll see how that goes. There we go. So 5, we can add here, add here, add here, add here. This should go to 52.0, that's correct. This should always add up to 100, and there we go. Perfect. We'll escape that, and now we need to do the return. Okay, so basically it is the button return all. Was that the ones I just did? Apparently that's got a button already. Ah, okay, whatever. Well, I'm afraid this can go. Bang, that's that sorted out. Okay. And also the return single. So we can drag this over to where we need it. It's up here somewhere. Okay, so the next part is to return them back. So they're getting returned back to item quantity. Okay. So let's do, well, we can do return all first. So we get this, right? And then we get this, and in fact we basically get those. In fact, we basically do that, except we change a little couple of things. So we can delete that. We can delete that, and we can put this back in. Okay. And now this actually goes in here, and this goes to 0. And that is it. And now this can go here. And now for our other one, we can duplicate that. We can do our slight changes again. So this is the one that we can unplug this, and this, and this, and this, and we can do this the other way around. So in this case, the item quantity goes up 1, and the item amount to transfer goes down 1. That goes in there, that goes in there, feed that back in, and then this goes up here and go plugs in here. Then we can drag this out a bit. We can pull this down out the way. And in fact what we'll do is we shall just do that, and there we go. That should now all actually work as we expect. So let's press 5. that's not quite right. So let's try that again and see what's actually going on. So the 1 is working fine, but when we return all, let's have a look at the code. Ah, okay, that makes sense. What we need to do is basically cut that, and this actually needs to go here to the other side, because we need to pick up this value before resetting this back to 0, and that is the reason that it actually failed. So basically we just go like that, plug this back in here, save it, and let's test it. I know I test it a lot, but so we can do that, we can switch it, we can drag it down a bit, then we can move everything, then we can go again. We've got 96 there, so let's do that. Okay, we've got 7, and let's put them all back, let's put them all there, let's put them all back, let's put a couple there. Working perfectly. Excellent. We never tested it on the set, the other. Right, so if we do it on buy, let's try this, working good. Put them all back, put them all there. Excellent. So the next thing we need to do is, when they do this, this is going to turn red, or we're going to have like a trade button and a close button, and if they press trade, the trade will be available if the amount basically matches, is less than the credits available. So if you try to spend too much money, then the trade button will either change, or this will change, or the button will disappear because you can't do that trade. But then we'll always have a close here, okay? So that is the next thing we need to do. So what we'll do is we shall go back to our trading main and look at this part here. Now the question is going to have to be, do we actually create another horizontal box, or do we put the 2 buttons here? Okay, so in the short term, let's just put a couple of buttons in. So what we can do is drag this in here, and duplicate it. So we've got our 2 buttons, okay? Now what we want to do is have probably a spacer, and it's going to go right in there, and this spacer is going to be about one, let's make it 200. Okay, then this button is going to it's going to fill, right? But what we actually need to do here is we can wrap this with a horizontal box, and this horizontal box is going to be filled, and we're going to put this button in the horizontal box, and this is going to align to the left, and this is going to align to the right. So we have our two buttons here, okay? And then we are going to do image. No, we're not. We're going to do text. Okay, so let's put that there. And we need to change the font. And this is going to be cancel. We're going to duplicate this. Okay, no, we're not. We're going to actually copy it and paste that in there. And then this is going to be trade. And our buttons are going to be wrapped in a border, which is going to be white. Actually, we might not want to do that. Let's get our button and it is white, supposedly, even though it's not. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our text and we're going to make it black. We're going to OK that, and we're going to do the same here. We're going to make it black. We're going to OK that. Okay, now this thing here, we're going to do that, and then this, we're also going to center it there. Okay, so I'm not happy with this. That just does not look white. To me, this button just does not look white. Okay, let's have a look at it. So if we continue that, hit the 5, and I suppose it does kind of look kinda. Right, I'll tell you what though, this horizontal box needs some padding to the right. So we're going to bang 25 padding in to the right. Okay, and then each of the text box need a bit of padding left and right. So we'll give them 10 and 10. Well, let's not give them that much. Let's give them 5 and 5. Maybe 10 was the number. Maybe 10 was the right number there. Right, okay, we'll take that. We'll take that. But I'll tell you what we're going to do then, if that's the case. What we're going to do is, on the widget switcher, what we're going to do is the same thing. Right, we're going to say 10. Okay, we're not. We're actually going to do it on the text. right? So what we're going to do is grab those two, and the left and right is already 10, which is weird. I suppose that makes it better. Tell you what we're going to do though, we're going to move the translation slightly. Because even though it says they're centered, they're kind of not. Right, so we're going to go with, let's say 1. Okay, let's say 2. Can I actually go with 3 or 4? Okay, let's go 5. Too much. Looks like 4 is the magic number here. Yep, I'll take that. So I'm going to let you guys have a look at this while I go and grab a cigarette. I'm going to bring it up. F5. We're going to buy. And there you go. What's about that then? How are we liking this widget? Let me know in the comments, and I'll read out the comments when I come back and see what I think. Please be gentle. Okay, let's carry on with this and see how we can get this looking or functioning better, if that's possible. Right, so buy, sell, buy, sell. Okay. So now we need we need another box here that's gonna say the cost, right? So let's stop that. Right. Let's stop that. And what we can do is we've got this horizontal box here, right? And this whole horizontal box, let's minimize that for the moment. Okay, so we should really be renaming some of this stuff to make it a bit more navigable. I was probably right the first time. Now, let's see what we can do with this. Probably we need a vertical box in here. So we need a vertical box in here. Okay, we don't actually want a vertical box. What we want to do is wrap this in a vertical box. Okay. And then we can stick a horizontal box in here. Move it above that one. Okay, we may need to change out the padding a bit here, but we are going to have two text box. So we're going to have text in here. And we're going to have another one. Okay. And this is going to be the text is going to be that, and it's cost of trade. Then this one is going to be the same, except this one is going to be a variable, so we shall call it txt trade cost and set it to a variable. Okay, and then what we're going to do is this horizontal box is going to align to the right, and then we're going to pad it a bit from the right. Now I think, is it 25? Yep. And we're going pad. Sorry, what we're going to do is we're going to add a couple of spaces there, and then this one we're going to align the text to the center. Then we're going to set it to 0 to see how it's looking. And then we're going to set it to 150. Right, so we don't want this moving. Right? So what we can do, in fact I don't think that's going to actually do it. We could fill this at 0.5 and this one at 0.5, and that's not going to do it for us. 0.25, even that 0.1, that's not too great. Okay, so we'll set these back to fill. Okay. Set these back to auto. And see, if we align that to the left, it's still not going to do anything really. It's because this horizontal box. Let's have a look at that. So if I select this and change it to 0, you see that cost the trade mouse. That's not what I want. Right, but okay, fair enough, whatever. We'll not worry too much about that. We'll actually just get it to work, right? What we'll do is that just now. Then, in effect, this shouldn't. You see, that doesn't affect. Yeah. Okay, whatever. Right, I keep getting hung up about these things. What we should be able to do is pad this 10. Okay, we'll take that. And then these two, we'll take that. We'll take that. Okay. So when we move something, we basically have to calculate how much things cost and then add it to the cost of the trade. Okay? So when we move something, we have to recalculate the cost of the trade. So basically in here, when they do any of this, okay, any of this, we need to calculate the cost. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to return a number. A lot of these are going to be quite easy or should be removed, but for the moment we're going to call it return trade cost. Okay, and it's going to return us a value. And it's going to be trade cost, and it's going to be an integer. Okay, so in effect what we're going to have to do is get all. Do we need to do this? Yeah, we do. Get all widgets of class. We might actually redo this in a sort of different way, so we don't need to do all of this. Okay. Because we could actually set this up when we actually set up the main thing, so we could set up an array of references to each of the different widgets. We could do it that way. That's probably going to be an idea, but what we'll do is try and get it working in the first place. So we're basically going to say for each, we're not going to have a break in it. And we're going to have a local variable that's going to store our trade cost. So we shall call it temp trade cost. And we're going to set it here at the start. Now we are going to have to use return product price, but that is a function that I already have, so we can use that. So we now have the widget of trading line. So we want the get amount to transfer, okay, and we want the E item, and if this is greater than 0, then we're going to branch. Okay, so if this is greater than 0, we're going to branch it, and then we're going to get the price. We're only going to get the price if the amount that we have an amount. Okay, so now what we say is product price. It's a function, return product price, Okay. And we can do that. And then we use this item here. Plug that in there. So that's going to return the widget's product price, which is all good. And then we're going to multiply this. So it's int times int, and we're going to multiply it by the amount to transfer. Okay, now yeah, that should work. Yeah, that should work. Now we ain't going to do that. What we're actually going to do is we're going to get our temp trade cost. We're going to get it, and then we're going to set it. Now this return value is actually going to come off here. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to add it to our new set of values. So that's going to be a plus there. Then that goes in there. And then this goes in here. Okay. And then this is going to go on complete. And then our trade cost is going to plug straight into there. And that gives us our trade cost. Okay. So that's in trading line. Trading main. Not so good. This may actually still work. Are we passing in the parent here? That's the question. Apparently not. Apparently not. Okay. Let's worry about that in a minute. Right, so in trading lines, right, when they actually click, we're going to say return trade cost, and let's see what this actually does. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to get parent. Ah, we have got it. Parent widget. Yeah, we've got it. Right, okay. So all we do is get that, and where's the trade cost? There, it's there. Then we set text. Okay. Then this. Oh, this goes in here. I had a bit of a brain melt there, brain freeze. So this goes to here. And yeah. Okay. So what we shall do is move these to here. Then bring this over. Save that. And let's see what happens, shall we? So we can do that. And that's doing absolutely squat diddly to the cost of trade. So let's add a breakpoint. Okay. So we step into this. Step over, step over, step over, and we have nothing. Okay, so we need to click that and try that instead. 5. So we step into that, step over, step over, over. Now we have some. Okay, let's see actually what this does. One. It's kind of right. Right, we'll remove this. Resume. So on that, a widget is 3. And look at that. This should be a lot. 979. So this is selling, okay? And this is calculating exactly. So this is kind of perfect the way it is. Now our price that's the selling. Right, wait a minute. That's the selling price. Okay, so we need to do a bit more on this. Okay. Because we need to refresh these values or something, or store these values. Or what we could do is we could put our little do you really want to exit this because it's going to refresh everything. And in this case we could change this depending on which version of the widget switcher we have switched on. So I think the cost of that is 0. So if we move all the bauxite, it's certainly working. Okay, So I think we're going to leave it there for today, and we'll be back later in about 4 hours or so, and we shall continue with this, trying to solve any issues and make it do what we think it should do. So if you've enjoyed the stream and still watching or whatever, then have a check out on the description for ways to support the channel. Don't forget to subscribe, and I shall catch you on the next one. Bye for now.